we are going through every time. We may get scarred. We may get beat down. I may get hit back, but I'm getting back up every time. And in the midst of it, I'm grateful for the power to do so. I'm grateful for the grace, and I am astonished.
Hey, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Hip and Matt coming here today. Josh is out recharging. I got a question. Are you on fucking fire? Oh, you're not? Cool. Be grateful for it. Be grateful for when shit sucks, because I'm promising you that there's a reason for it. And if you keep the right perception on it, then things are going to benefit you in the long run. So without any more from me, I give you today's episode. I don't know what it'll be labeled. I guess that'll come at the end of the podcast. But like for our listeners, all of us have been going through some stuff, and we're short a host this week. And we'll get to that, of why we're missing our host, Joshua. And it's just me and Matt coming today. But there's been a lot going on the last month, I'd say. It feels like it's been forever since we recorded, huh?
Mm-hmm. And the last episode we recorded was you going through a week of hell and coming back from Chicago and facing death and going to funerals. That was the last episode we talked about.
Right.
So that was kind of heavy.
Yeah.
Only for us to get here today. And after that, we've all been through even more hell since.
Right.
Man.
And it's good to document, because life isn't always just perfect and flawless. And, we were debating on even doing this, and you had asked what the topic was, and I was like, gratitude for the shitty times.
Man. And I just started laughing, didn't I?
Yeah.
And I'm like, are you for real? You were like, yeah. And
Right.
I'm like, run it.
Well, I mean, it's like there's two ways you can go when life happens. You can pitch a tent in fucking self-pityville and fucking live there and drag everybody down, because we've all got problems, and not everybody's got time for fucking my problems. And I totally get that. And I ain't got time for their problems. But what can be resolved from problems or just life, I'm not even going to say problems, right? Because your buddy Joko every morning wakes up and prays for problems.
Right, he says he's like, problems, there are no problems. But if you have a problem, it's a gift from God. It make you better.
And I remember you telling me that and thinking like, ooh, that's some bullshit. I ain't trying to burn bread and like ever wish for a problem. But it was just because I wasn't ready to receive. Fast forward a little bit, and I totally fucking get it. I totally get it. And it's, at first when I heard it, it was scary. But now it's like, we need those. I'm going to just try my best to quit calling them problems, because they're experiences to grow, and they're character defining moments.
Yep.
And that just has a little bit more appeal to it, I think, than just saying a problem.
Well, yeah, because there's a huge difference between identifying a problem, noticing, observing, being in the midst of a storm, and if you're going to call it a problem or not. There's a huge difference between experiencing a problem and knowing what to even fucking do now about it, or in the midst of it, right?
Right.
That's a huge difference when all hell's breaking loose, when it's just like one thing after another. Now, we're all human. We all have our own breaking points, and a point where it's like we all have moments of just throwing our hands up like, oh my God, right? But I know we were never promised that there wouldn't be storms. We were never promised that there wouldn't be problems. We were promised peace in the midst of the storm. We were promised the strength to be able to weather and walk through these storms. Not that they wouldn't come, And when you said, like, forget what you just said a minute ago, but almost observing, because you've been observing a lot lately. You see people's true colors when storms come. You know, I'm a fighter. You're a fighter. And I realize, like, sometimes going into a fight and a battle, there are certain things I need right here in my head and right here. And at the same time, I find myself shielding myself or guarding myself from all the negative Nellies around me with fear-mongering and negative reports that is not going to serve us in the midst of this battle. I do not need to hear your doubt. I do not need to hear your fear. I don't need to hear any of that bullshit right now, because I'm standing for the possibility of us getting through this storm, you know. And when I'm going through a storm, I want to run with brothers and sisters that we're doing everything we can, even if it's believing that we're getting through this and overcoming. It sucks going through the storm and everyone else is just like giving up already and are defeated and crying and calling defeat, you know, and I don't judge them for that. They just fucking ain't no help. You know what I'm saying?
And, you know, you always like the way you break shit down and share stuff is really good, and it's always positive, and it has a positive message. But, like, just to bring, like, our listeners in to, like, is he real? Is he bullshitting? Like, give them a little bit of, like, what your last 24 hours have been like and your last 30 days.
You and I, we have not, for all our listeners, I ain't seen or been in Hip or Mike's presence in a month.
Yep.
We've all had COVID. You just got out of quarantine. I got out of quarantine a week ago.
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, I haven't worked in almost 2 months because it's been one thing after another. Shit. But yeah, my wife has been battling. See, I get caught up in language. I'm in the middle of a storm. I'm in the middle of a battle. And even what I'm going to declare or say about my wife, I'm careful because I know I've got power, right? So my wife's in the hospital right now. It's the 5th time I've had to bring her to the hospital. I feel like last week I saved her life 4 times while waiting on the ambulance to get here, right? They've been calling her a medical mystery because they ain't been able to figure out what's going on with her. She gets these attacks out of nowhere and becomes completely paralyzed. We've got 3 children, one being a 2-year-old. 1 second, mama's fine. My 2-year-old's in the tub. I go to use the bathroom, come back out. Mama's not fine. She's pale white, passed out and convulsing, and my 2-year-old's crying, blah, blah. So I haven't even been able to leave the house. And with her battling that, on top of that, taken to the hospital, blah, blah. On top of that, she got COVID. Came home, I got COVID. My whole family got COVID. My mom got COVID. My mom's been in ICU. It's just been one thing after another. So many people. And you know what? This story's common right now going on in the country. Everyone's hurting. Everyone's battling. Everyone's battling COVID. People are dying. People are struggling. And so it's hit home. We get it. I get it. It's been a real fucking struggle. My wife's in the hospital right now. We care about you guys so much. We care about this podcast so much. We're so committed that we're not just saving this for rainbows and sunshine days when everything's all good and my tank's full. So I'm going to come here and serve you with some gold nuggets. Like, we are hurting. It's been a struggle. And Hip thinks it's important that we keep it 100 and come on here and tell you that we too struggle. And we've been in the midst of storms.
How much sleep you had, Matt?
I don't even know. You know, I'm probably on 2 or 3 hours right now. And anyways, we decided we're going to record this episode today, decide if it's even worth dropping, you know, after we're done. And then I'm rushing straight back to the hospital to be with my wife. Thankfully, I got Mama and Papa here watching the kids so that I can podcast and then go to the hospital. But guys, it's been scary. It's been tough. I feel like I was, almost lost her several times. And she's being monitored by a neurologist right now. Yeah. Yeah, it's been tough. So if we want to call any of those things problems or opportunities, and it's this type of shit that will either take you out or cause you to really step up, or talk about testing. Are you really who you say you are? You know what I'm saying?
So we had talked when I was on the road and I found out you had COVID. And so we got a fucking smorgasbord of bullshit going on or character building moments. And what are some of the things since then that you have told me while in the midst of it and still in the midst of it that you're grateful for all these events that are unfolding?
Okay. Well, first and foremost, guys, because I don't want to downplay it. It's been hell the past couple weeks, the past 48 hours. But first off, I want to acknowledge you guys for being my brothers and being my friends. And you both have reached out, and you guys are always there for me. Anything I needed, Mike was delivering us water, all of it, whatever the case may be. Second of all, man, the Tattoo Business Mastery and all my students have been reaching out to me and having my back and just like loving them, you know what I'm saying? People in the tattoo industry, So I just want to acknowledge everyone, my friends, my family, the Tattoo Business Mastery. Everybody's been real cool. And then to top it off, and it's funny because the day it all hit, like I was in the hospital with my wife, then we came home, then she got COVID, and I was taking care of her and the kids, and then I got COVID. And the day I woke up with COVID and is the first, when I looked at my phone, was the first message from Mr. Carlton with the news that, he's going into a second battle of cancer. So it just all hit at once, like, fuck. My wife's almost died last night. Now she's got COVID. Now I got COVID, and Carlton's fighting cancer again. It was just like blam, 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 an opportunity to just throw your hands up and be like, fuck, right? And that was just the beginning. It's gotten worse and worse and worse, like storm after storm after storm after flood after discouragement after hit,
Which right there is a great example of why gratitude is always the attitude to be had, because you just said that was the beginning and it's gotten worse since then.
Yeah.
So imagine not having that attitude of gratitude right there when all that hits, because that's horrible shit.
Right.
So to find, I don't know, that survival's instinct, or just know that there's going to be better days and know that all this is happening for you in the long run. It's happening for Katie right now in the long run. It's happening for Josh right now in the long run. It's happening for everybody right now in the long run. All we got to do is just be patient, continue doing the right thing, stay focused, and keep our perception positive.
Come on.
In order to get to the sunshine.
Now, don't get me wrong, folks. I have my moments of throwing my hands up. I have my moments of being hit. I get hit. I have my moments of ow. I have my moments of discouragement. I have my moments of wanting to cry my eyes out, right? They all hit us. But like Hip said, and we feel that. You got to feel it. We just don't pitch a tent, decide to stay there, and label my house now a victim, and everyone here is victims. I do not receive that. I will not speak that. I do not declare that. And so the only thing I know to do, which this may be too woo for some of you listeners, but fuck it. Because guess what? I've been through enough shit that one gift I've been given is reminders of all the fuck what really fucking matters and all the shit that don't, that we get caught up in a day to day. I don't care. Even half the shit I teach with turning your life around, your money situation, your head and your heart, it's all don't mean shit. None of it means shit without everything that truly does matter, which is our heart, which is our impact, which is our family, which is who, what, and why are we doing any of this for, right? And so this has caused me to put a mirror in front of my face and see all the areas in my life where I've still been playing small, talking shit to myself, saying I'm gonna be, I'm gonna do, yeah, I'm gonna, and realizing like, fuck, that's could be an illusion. I may not fucking be here next week. Who knows? With the way shit's been going, anything can happen, right? What I'm getting at, whether I'm here for one more week or 100 more years, going through these storms has reawakened vision in me and the impact that I feel, that I'm supposed to do while I'm still here, that I get to partake in, but the shit's just got realer than ever. So that was a gift. A gift for my wife, because she had been struggling so hard and mourning the death of her sister before she's hit her own physical stuff. She's had down days where she didn't even know she wanted to still even be here to keep fighting, right? And battled with even taking her own life at times. And the gift that she's been given out of this, amongst a lot, is realizing that her feelings weren't reality. And when her life has almost been taken from her multiple times, it made her appreciate it and realize, I don't want to go yet, and that's the gift. So we just need to get her better so that she gets to live again, so that we get to live again, so that I get to live again. It does not matter what has happened, what you are going through. Each day we still get to choose to live again and to make it count in the midst of whatever. And then I've got our brother Joshua Carlton, who's across the country facing his own battle, facing his own pain, and he's fucking reaching out to us.
Motherfucker.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I know Joshua's over there in pain, struggling right now. And I was in the hospital all night long, and Joshua was hitting me up like every hour. And that just fucking blessed me and broke my heart. Here's a man that's battling for his life, and he's like trying to comfort me. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, oh my God, and if you don't mind, hopefully Josh won't care. I mean, literally, guys, it was at a dark point last night, and this text came in from Joshua, and it was just right on time. And he said, Matt, I am so honored that we became friends, and I mean that from my heart. I am not the best at making friends, as I've always looked at things from a different perspective, and sometimes it's been difficult to fit in. So I just know that you have really had a huge impact on my life and my happiness. I love you, man. And I'm just like, fuck, man.
He's up in the middle of the night too. Probably can't sleep because he's worried about you.
Jesus, man.
In pain because his fucking cancer's just wrecking him. And the Oxycontins ain't working. And what's he fucking do? Gets out of self.
Man, dude.
Man, that gives me cold chills. Because it's crazy. Like, someone's always got it worse. There's somebody right now that's on fire. And it's like, early on in recovery, I was taught to like look at things that I'm grateful for, even if my wife's healthy right now and she's not in the hospital. I'm also grateful for the opportunity to see what it looks like to be a good husband that supports his wife. I'm also grateful that I don't have fucking stage 4 cancer.
Come on.
But I've got a brother who has it that I get to watch from a distance to see and understand how you get through that and live a day at a time with a positive mindset and attitude. Those are things I'm grateful for. And everyone's always got struggles. Like, I had the opportunity to take my mom to the West Coast mid-August. And I was running because, like we talked at the beginning, our last episode was just loss and stuff that I was dealing with and people around me, which is not foreign, with being in an inner circle of recovering drug addicts, because we're always one thought away from killing ourselves. And I just wanted to chase the sun. I wanted to take my mom and my wife and chase the sun and see people that I love get married and slap hands with Josh and Nicole and Aaron and Riley and all my friends out in Oregon. And we did that. And I wanted to forget everything because while we were gone, they pulled a plug on a good friend of mine, and I wanted to stay gone. And I almost feel guilty saying this, but I didn't want to go to his viewing or funeral, and I made sure to stay gone, and I missed it purposely. Good, bad, right, or wrong, it doesn't matter. I needed to clear my head. And I did that. And I almost feel like I let my mom down because we would go place to place and get pictures and then move on and get pictures and move on and never really I tried to be in the moment the best I could. And it was what it was. We make it to fucking Oregon. We're at a wedding. Josh and Nicole are at the wedding and he's fucking literally cutting a rug. I found out too while I was out there that Josh used to be a break dancer or a b-boy.
Yeah, that's my brother, boy.
And him and Nicole were out there on the dance floor doing their thing. He got pictures of the tattoo he did on me. It was a good night. The next day I woke up and I tattooed at Queen Bee, and him and Nicole swung through, and he wrecked on me and made fun of me the whole time, and we poked the bear.
That's
and it was great. And then that day, my wife started getting a little bit ill. Then the next day, we woke up and Josh had sent us a message because that would have been Tuesday. We were going to record possibly in person, me and him, with you here in Ohio. And he found out he's got stage 4 cancer again, and is starting to fight his battle all over again. And then I talked to you. We were lost in the mountains of Idaho. You'd been battling COVID. And started telling me about what you and Katie were going through. And that day, that night, my mom got sick. And then it was just basically traveling back to Ohio with all of us sick with COVID. And it was what the fuck, man? I came out here to recharge and let everything pass. And just like you had said, it was just the beginning when I left.
Jesus, man.
And, once we got back and everything, me and the wife quarantined, my mom quarantined. And in some hindsight, I'm so grateful, that I got to help my mom down sand dunes to the ocean so she could put her feet in the Pacific Ocean. She never thought she'd be able to do that. I took her to see redwoods. We went to Sedona. We went to all the national parks in Utah.
And just for our listeners to know, they drove from Ohio to Oregon and didn't take the straight route. Basically, Hip took his mom all the way across country to the West Coast and up to the mountains back. I mean, you guys toured the country.
Mm-hmm. And the day I got sick, I was the last one to get COVID. 2 days 2 days from the day I got COVID was my wife's birthday. and she was feeling better than me. So all day on her birthday, she got to drive through Kansas with COVID. And we didn't get to celebrate her birthday properly. And we got back and we all quarantined. Mom's doing good.
Thank God.
I'm out of quarantine now. Megan's, she's at work as we speak. And, going stir crazy. I thought, I was going to watch some Dexter reruns for the 2 weeks. And it just got to the point, that like I was just getting stir crazy. Plus, we lost our taste and smell. And when that happened, I thought, wow, what a great time to go ahead and start keto. Because if I got to deal with the keto flu, there's no better time than with the COVID. So I've been on keto currently now for like 3 weeks. But there was another friend that has been making some crazy posts, like he's using on Facebook. So what me and Megan would do is midday, once we felt up to it, would jump in the car and drive around and, just try to spot him to see where he's at or what he's doing. And we had no luck doing so, only to find out nearing the end of our quarantine that like he overdosed, he relapsed and was dumped in an alley and was in cardiac arrest for 30 minutes and has been basically brain dead since then. And hospice just came in today. So they're going to be pulling a plug on another childhood friend. And it's just like, man, like, where's the gratitude? Well, one, I haven't relapsed and I wasn't left dead in an alley for 30 minutes. If he makes it, if he doesn't make it, I'm choosing to believe that he's going to make it. But if he doesn't, I was light in his life. My wife was light in his life. Yeah. Why he was fighting his battles. Once we got back to Ohio, the whole way back from Oregon, Josh knew we had COVID, and this motherfucker was checking in daily to make sure we were all right, and had the audacity, and Josh, if you're watching this, to ask me if I needed anything, made me feel guilty and ashamed that I hadn't done that to you.
Right.
Because I was so caught up with my problems, right?
Dude, and yesterday, Josh made... when he just was feeling good and he set up and he shot a video for me or for all of you, telling you all about Tattoo Business Mastery and how it's one of the greatest decisions he's ever made and why you all should check it out.
He did that yesterday?
Yeah, and sent it to me so that I could share with the future brother tattoo artists that don't even know nothing about Tattoo Business Mastery. Josh made a video for me. I'm like, this motherfucker, boy.
Unstoppable. I wasn't really feeling up to tattooing. Let's see, I did my first tattoo, what was it? Fucking Sunday. He tattooed Saturday.
And texted me, he was like, I tattooed today. And I was like, happy day. He was stoked that he could.
Yeah.
And was able to and did it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure he was fighting, but he still went in the ring. He still... what he's living for is passion. That's why we're recording right now. Now, for all you listeners, everything's cool. My wife's resting right now. Before we decided to do this podcast, I called and talked to the head nurse, and you know what I'm saying, and she's cool right now. But what I'm getting at is, and I told these boys when I showed up, I am so grateful to get to serve you guys each week from our table, from our hearts, to get to be a vessel to somehow impact or touch your life. Hopefully we have, hopefully we do, and I will fucking serve from my deathbed, So no matter what, we're fighters. We're not giving up. But Hip, I love your attitude. Because in the midst of all this, Hip wants to be like, let's look for the gifts. Let's see and discover and uncover all the gratitude in the midst of all of this. The gratitude, what'd you say? Gratitude for what? Shitty situation. What's you?
Oh, fuck. I don't know.
Yeah.
And you know what?
When I ask you, like, hey, what do we want to talk about? And you're like,
oh, yeah, gratitude for our shitty situations.
And I love that. Right there, a heart, because that's a perspective shift that comes natural to you. That just came out of you. That comes natural to me. But it don't to most people. They're like, what do I got to... Where's the gratitude in this bullshit? My mom's in ICU. My wife's in the shit's falling up. Everything. Your friends are dying. Everyone's got COVID. Where's the gratitude in this? That's why I love your heart, because one cannot even find the gratitude if they're not even looking for it. You're constantly looking. It don't matter. And I'm constantly looking for it. And you know what? If you look for what's wrong with the world,
you're going to find it.
You're going to find it. If you look for what's
you
right.
ain't got to look for what's wrong with the world. You're going to find it.
Man, but if you look for what's right, you're going to find it. In the midst of it all. And so you're right, Hip. We still got so much to be thankful for. Just contemplating our lives, I'm astonished of our existence.
I shouldn't be here.
You know what I'm saying? Just for starting that our existence, and we were created and placed here. We hear numbers like the odds of you being born is 400 trillion to 1. You know what I'm saying? But yet you're here. We made it. It's still a mystery to so many people. Really, where did we come from? Where we're going? Who are we? How did we get here? All of that, right? And there's mystery. People's got opinions. I have my own opinions of all of this deal. But in the midst of it, I find myself being astonished, even in the mystery of it all, even in the pain. Like an atom, and I think it's an atom. I'm not a big science guy, but isn't every atom positive and negatively charged? Right?
Yeah.
You can't have one without the other.
Electrons, neutrons.
That's right. And they're both made to serve us, right? So even though, we're considered positive dudes, we at the same time are grateful for the negative.
I mean, you can't be a positive person without negative experiences.
That's right.
That's what, man, going through hell is what made me appreciate things. Like how you were saying, like you realized that you were playing small. Man. Sometimes it's fun to get a kick in the ass. Yeah. In hindsight, it's always in hindsight, man. My goal was to be so present that like I just celebrate everything in the moment, even how bad it is, or what the doctor was gonna say, or however the news is broken to me, and celebrate in it because it's a reason to celebrate.
Yeah, starting with I'm celebrating. We're even back here together. This is the first time we've been in each other's presence in a month. I'm thankful you made it through COVID. I'm thankful I made it through. Because not everybody
Megan
does.
quit vaping from COVID.
Yeah.
So maybe it took her getting that to stop vaping, smoking completely.
For all you listeners that have been facing your own battles, your own pain, we feel you, we see you, we stand with you for the possibility. You brought up attitude. I bring up belief. So now what? Storms come. Shit happens. To all of us. All you listeners, if you've been telling yourself the story for years that you're fucked up, you got social anxiety, whatever, something's wrong with you, right? Hey, I got news for you. We're all fucked up. You're not alone. You've never encountered a human being that isn't fucked up, just like you. You've never encountered a human being that hasn't experienced storms, loss, battling COVID, whatever the case may be. We all face it. So guess what? That's all under the so what category. We cross over into, well, now what, though? Now what? Who you going to be now? Who are we being in the midst of this storm? This is where belief and manifestation kicks in. This is where you don't just receive anyone's opinion. You don't receive anyone's word. You don't receive anyone's report. And anything that is contrary to life-giving, anything that is contrary to you overcoming in your victory and your abundance and your authority, I don't receive. I don't even got time. I don't give a fuck about your negative Nelly opinions, your fear. In the midst of this storm, you're just dead weight. I love you as a person, but right now we got real shit to face. Either you're going to go through the storm with us or get the fuck over to the side with all the rest of the victims while the few of us get this ship through the storm, right? And I say that because even when I was battling COVID, of course, everyone in my family, I'm telling you, I think there's 20 some people in my family that have COVID right now. Okay. I'm the only one that wasn't vaccinated. Now, vaccination's a whole nother topic on what side you lean on and blah, blah, blah. And I've learned a lot. And so, one, I'm thankful. Everyone else I know that's battling COVID had 2 vaccines, blah, blah. So, since I wasn't vaccinated and I'm fighting it myself while taking care of my wife and my kids, and people are checking in, right? So I got people like y'all checking in and you're supporting. Then I've got family who cares but are so riddled with fear. And so even when they check in, Matt, how you doing? And when I would say I'm doing good, they almost didn't want to receive that report. And they were like, well, you just wait, like as if like, wait, it's fucking coming. It's going to get worse. Wait till that shit goes in your chest. And I'm thinking, I do not need to fucking hear that. The fuck you going to? I am in the middle of a fucking storm. I need to keep my belief serving me. And other people are trying to sow in fear, doubt, and expect the worst. Fuck you. You know what I'm
It's
saying?
like you're in the middle of the ring boxing Tyson. Motherfucker comes up and ties your shoes together.
Yeah, I know. And then fucking hits you and jabs you in the ribs a few times. Be like, just wait. He's coming for you.
And it's cool because like when the just wait happens, I'll still be cool.
Check it. Well, whether you believe in God or not, I'll tell you this. Your imagination is God. If I was to tell you right now to quit thinking thoughts, it would be impossible. Even if you're thinking about not thinking a thought, you are still thinking. You are always thinking. When you are asleep, your brain is thinking. Your imagination is always on. This is God manifested in you. I don't know your thoughts. Now, I've got giftings. I can pick up on them, but we don't know what your imagination is doing. We don't know when your monkey mind kicks in. Nobody does but you. It's your imagination. It's God in you. And it's powerful. You are way more powerful than what you know. Why do I say this? Because especially in storms, especially in times like this, we need to use our imagination to see ourselves through the storm, victorious and whole. I will see that, I will imaginate that, and create that, and allow the universe to be a mirror to myself. Whatever's happening out here, I take responsibility for. Somehow I created. What's going to happen next? I take responsibility now with the God in me and my imagination to use my own God-given powers to create, manifest, and imagine the outcome I declare. And I'm stronger than this person's declaration. I'm stronger than any fucking doctor's report. I don't give a fuck. I am God. You are God. I have the imagination and the power to create above and beyond anyone else. This is what I believe. This is what I say. This is what I put into practice in the midst of the storm. The alternative blows ass. To receive all the negative reports, to receive man's limited opinion about you and your life and what's coming down the pike next. Get ready for defeat. Get ready for death. Get ready for it to get worse. Get ready. Oh, motherfuckers being taken out left or right. This is bigger than you. You ain't strong enough, whatever. All those reports, if you receive that with your imagination, your thoughts, and you entertain those thoughts, so shall it be. This is why I don't receive the very reports I do not want. I ain't got time for it. You can fuck off with that. This is who I am. My wife is whole. My family is whole. We are victorious. I say we shall live and not die. I say we are not done here. I say Joshua Carlton is whole. I imagine and I thank God and I'm thanking the whole universe, despite what it looks like, despite what it feels. I am celebrating Joshua Carlton being whole now. I take responsibility for the power God gave me in my imagination that never stops. And when I imagine Josh, I imagine him whole. I do not imagine him any other way. I imagine you of your best version of yourself. I imagine you free. I imagine you overcoming. I imagine storms not affecting you. I imagine you walking in the power of godlike power to where shit is rolling off of you. It doesn't matter what storm comes against us. We are going through every time. We may get scarred. We may get beat down. I may get hit back, but I'm getting back up every time. And in the midst of it, I'm grateful for the power to do so. I'm grateful for the grace, and I am astonished that we even get to be so fucking mysteriously, beautifully clumsy, so vulnerable, to be able to feel such pain, to be able to feel such discouragement, to be able to feel fear, but also to be able to choose life and to feel love and to feel strength and to feel power in the midst of our weakness. This is why our beliefs matter so much. And that may be some bullshit to you. That may be woo to you. But guess what? I don't give a fuck. I choose life. This shit just got real. This shit's always been real to me. Guess what? It just got even more real. I ain't fucking around. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to be here to share. And I'm astonished for the gift of life, not knowing, like you said last episode, our life bank account. It could be up next week or not, right? Mm-hmm. We do not know. Alls I do know is I get to choose and take responsibility for who I get to be in the midst of this journey. For me, for my family, and for you. Come on.
And this is this motherfucker on no sleep. Imagine when he's well rested.
Man. Are we even going to drop this episode? Yeah, Mike says, yeah. I'm thankful that before I came on here, I laid my 2-year-old daughter down for her nap. And she said, Daddy, will you hold my hand while she's drinking her bottle? And when I looked into her eyes, I was astonished. I saw the whole universe in her eyes. We're all so lucky. But can you see it? Are you looking for it? In the midst of it's easy to be grateful when shit's great. Nah. You know, and like we've said before, success is a shitty teacher, right? When everything's going great.
Correct.
But it's the fucking storms, it's the problems in our life that show up. That this is why Joko says are the real gifts, because it causes us to be better. It's either gonna cause you to step up in the storm and step into an authority that you have never walked in before, or unfortunately, like a big portion of the world, it's just going to cause you to fold, go in the corner and roll up in a ball and give in to complaining. And, you know, back to your imagination. And this is just kind of like a saying because, you know, but growing up, people would say things to me like, the devil cannot defeat you at all. Has no power over you. Therefore, his only shot is deceiving you into accepting your own defeat and just relinquishing your own power, right? And again, just knowing the power of your own imagination to not be deceived into receiving the negative reports of everything you don't want. And yes, I'm not talking about being in denial and being like, la, la, la. No, again, when the negative reports show up, boom, now what? who you going to be? What are you going to do? You're just going to receive it and fold and lend over your godlike imagination and link up and agree with the report that you do not want? Fuck that. Nope. I am going to create bigger than this limited report. We live in a universe of infinite possibilities. So if someone speaks of and tries to narrow your life down to one or two options only when we're in a universe of infinite possibilities, don't get, I believe we still have a choice in every moment, in every situation. But most of us don't even realize our own power and realize our own imagination, our own belief is so powerful. But again, whether you know it or not, it's always working. But it's either working for you and serving you or against you because you're just fucking letting someone else run your thoughts for you. And it all truly, truly matters. Yep, and it's been painful. It's been traumatic. And it's been scary. But it's also been riddled with gifts. Gifts of life. Gifts, again, of what really matters. Whatever problems I thought I had a month ago, I don't even remember what they were now. You know what I'm saying? But I thank God I'm not a single dad today. I thank God my wife's still alive. And I am so thankful that she's whole. And yep, I'm just believing for the best. Why not?
Right.
You know? And yeah,
those are your choices.
Come on. And yeah, and guess what? For all you listeners, it's like, I've tried that before and the shit didn't work. So fuck it. Right? Mm-hmm. Welcome to the club. We don't quit.
Man, you know how many times I've experienced something and hung on to the positive outlook even though it didn't work in my favor?
Man.
You know how bad I want to write the story for my buddy right now, and I'm unfortunate. It's not unfortunate, because powerlessness, surrender, acceptance are warrior principles. Even though they sound like they're not, they are. And I'm still choosing to live on the right side of things because things don't always work out the way I want them to.
Hey, you just said the word warrior, and it reminded me of a quote I heard recently. It's an age-old quote, I guess. I never heard it, but supposedly it's famous, which is, it's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war.
Ooh, yeah.
You know?
Yep.
And so, again, the things I'm talking about, if we want to attribute some of it to, because yes, a warfare spirit rises up in me when there's a storm, when we're facing battles in our life, a war, the warrior rises up in me. We shall not be defeated. We've already burnt the fucking ships. But even in the good times, it's better to be a warrior in a garden when things are great versus being a gardener in a war. Where's your mind? What are your beliefs?
You sent me a quote a long time ago for something I was going through, and I always send it to people. I don't have the actual screenshot of it, but I just remember it verbatim, and it's that God had whispered to the man, take shelter, the storm's coming." Then the man applied to God, "I am the storm."
I love that shit. I also believe we are eternal beings without knowing what that fully looks like. I know we're all just visitors here, right? So don't get caught up. We're all just visiting here. Don't get caught up, right? But I also believe that we are eternal beings. I love the Creator's expression in Hip. I love God's expression in Mike. I love God's expression in Joshua Carlton. Me and we're all so beautiful and fucking powerful. ancient scripture just says you have forgotten who you really are. It's like you've got all the power of the universe on the inside of you, and you just don't know it. You were sent here as God only to get here, but you don't know it. You've forgotten who you really are. But all the power and everything you need of the whole universe, the power to manifest, the power to create, the power to heal, the power to heal again, has always been on the inside of you. It's not about trying to obtain that as much as rediscover and remember who you really are. This is the journey. For our listeners, we've been put time on the clocks today. We've got 8 minutes left of today's show. For all you listeners, if you're still even listening, thank you. I know this was heavy. Maybe sometimes when you're going through your own shit, you don't even got room to hear that someone else is, right? So thank you for listening, and hopefully, even in the parts when we were talking about the storms we've been through recently, hopefully something we said today on how we even deal with our own shit has inspired or helped you. But in saying that, in these last 7 minutes now, Hip, what would you like to leave our listeners with?
Good, bad, right, or wrong. If it's got a name on it, it's been done 1,000 times. So your experiences are our experiences, and vice versa.
Gray wash that. Trying to bring something and tattooing.
Gray wash that.
Fucking line that shit. Man,
pendulum swing that, bitch.
So, tell me again what's all the bullshit you've been complaining about and woe of me about and worried about. How's that been working out for you? How's that been serving? Have you been creating? Have you been wondering all the shit in your life that's been showing up that you don't like? Why it keeps showing up? Why more and more keeps happening? Maybe you're the common denominator. Choose life every time. And again, I'm talking about gratitude. I'm thankful for this life. I'm thankful. You know, someone was telling me last week they were at a funeral, and the dude was saying, hey, we're all given 2 dates. They're for sure. We're born, we show up here on this planet with a date, we leave here with a date, and there's just a dash in between. The only thing that really matters is that dash.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm grateful for that dash. We're sitting here, so we're still in the mid. Our dash is still going, and I'm fucking grateful for it, and I'm going to do my best not to take it for granted. And like you said, to be present. Right now, we're touching this white table, and your arms are on the white table. You got a microphone. We're manifesting a dream we had. We're doing this, Hip.
I'm breathing.
I'm fucking thankful for this. I'm thankful for you. And man, I'm thankful that we've made it through. How much have we already made through and overcome? All you listeners, especially you tattoo artists, have been through. So many of us have had such tough lives, right? So what? Because we all have. Now what? Who are you being? And a lot of the journey is not only stepping into a greater awareness of your own power and who you truly are, it's all the while simultaneously letting go of everything you're not. All the limiting beliefs that you've carried since you were 4 or 5 years old about yourself that aren't true. You know, limiting beliefs I liken to like what I call spiritual assassins. Now in the movies, if there's an assassin or a sniper up on the roof and he's taking shots at people, why most people run, there's always, whether it's law enforcement, the authorities, what are they trying to do? Identify the shooter. Find him. Where is he? Why? Because an assassin's power lies in remaining undetected. The second they find his location, he's up there on the north building, is the second he loses his power, he packs his shit up and runs. We all have spiritual assassins in our own life, in our own head. The journey is to be able to define them so that they lose their power, right? And we can remove lenses that have been skewing our perception, right? So this journey is stepping into our power and our freedom, all the while a lifestyle of letting go of all the bullshit that's been in the programming that don't serve us. The lies about you that aren't true, that you never knew weren't true until someone or something helped you see your own blind spots, helped you see that which you could not see. This is the journey. This is the journey we're constantly on. I'm still on. Let me see, like the Matrix, red pill, blue pill. I don't want to stay asleep. Help me see my own blind spots. Help me remember my own godlike power so that I can be all of that for you, for me, for us, for we. I take responsibility in whatever that continues to unfold. All I know is I'm grateful for the process, and we are not about to give up now. You know what I'm saying? Especially all this. It's like, man, where have I been playing small? I'm not comparing myself to other dudes because other people think we're already playing big. Nope. I'm not competing with you. I'm competing with my own potential, in my own heart, in my own truth. You must speak your truth, not just to the world, but to you, and keep it real with you. And the gifts of a storm can make you quit being a liar to you. Now what?
You didn't come this far just to come this far.
Come on. You've got the goods. You're definitely not alone. Please write us and comment your thoughts on today's show. And we've been reading your comments, haven't we, boys? And man, it's been a real blessing, hasn't it?
It has.
Any one of you that have reached out to us individually or on YouTube, we read every comment. Thank you. It means a lot, doesn't it?
It does. It does.
I have found it funny that some people, well, you know, some of y'all don't comment on YouTube to all of us. Some of you just been choosing one of us three to write. So some of you personally inbox me saying how much this podcast has helped you in your life. But some people just message you, Hip.
Right.
And people just message Carlton. And then we share your messages amongst one another. But it is interesting why a brother chooses to write you versus me or vice versa. I was actually interviewing a potential student for Tattoo Business Mastery last
Real quick,
week.
I'll tell you why. It's because impact. You never know your impact.
Come on.
And the message that I carry may not get through to him. You carry the same message and they receive it. So you never know. It's the impact. But yeah, you were saying
So good.
interviewing for Business Mastery.
And there is a dude. It's the message I sent you guys the other night. One of the messages I sent, the guy saying how much his podcast has really fucking helped him. And anyways, one thing led to another. He wanted to talk about Tattoo Business Mastery. Anyways, I recorded it. I want to show you part of it. But he was talking about, because when he wrote me that message, I asked him, just curious, did you also write that message to Hip and Josh? Or just me? He's like, nah, just you. He's like, I didn't want to bother Josh. And Hip reminds me of one of those dudes that would just fucking punch me and knock me the fuck out if I said one wrong thing. I just started laughing like, yeah. He's like, where I come from, Hip looks like one of my peoples, ain't to be fucked with. So I was scared to write him.
Let that ride. Let that ride.
I was like, yeah, okay, that's awesome. The difference is how you occur to him versus me, who actually knows that even if you could, you wouldn't knock him out. At least the Hip is sitting here today. But anyways, yeah. So thank you guys, every one of you that even take the time to write us and to let us know how this is impacting your life. It means the world to us. So please don't stop. And if you've been wanting to write us, me, Hip, or Josh, and you're just scared to, don't be. Step out of your comfort zone. Be vulnerable enough to write us and watch us write you back. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Love you all. I love you, Hip. I love you, Mike. Thank you, guys. Keep fucking going. You were created by a creator to be the creator. Keep creating and focus and imagine everything you do want in the midst of all this bullshit. We love you. This has been another episode of the Tattoo Guardian Show. Thanks for tuning in every week. We'll see you next week.